guys, it's Steph and I'm back with a tag video today. So this is going to be Amanda's spring 2019 journal tag. I will link her original video in the description. And as for tagging people, I just would love to see all of my journal friends do this to help support Amanda and making this tag video because it's a really good tag. So let's just get into the questions because there are 16 questions. I decided to write them in my current journal. So that is actually the first question. First question is your current journal. So this is my current journal. You guys have seen it in many videos. This is my current. This is how the front cover looks. I have some post-it notes here, the start and finish date, as well as a picture of me on the dance team. This was my first ever dance team picture. And then, of course, I have, some pictures throughout. I'll do a flip through at some point. So I am this far through it. I have this much left in the journal. I actually made a video a while back saying that I might actually not finish this journal, but I decided to stick with it. That was one of my goals this year, was to journal more and to stick with journaling. So this is my current. Next question is last year's journal around springtime 2018. So this was the journal I was in last year. You guys have seen a flip through of this on my channel previously. If you would like, I can do an updated video because I did add just a few more things to it. So let me just find a page from spring of last year and I will read it for you guys. Spring. April is spring, correct? Correct, spring? April is spring. So I'm not actually going to read the entire thing, but this is my spread for April 13th of 2018. I'm not going to read the whole thing because it is quite heart-wrenching, but it's about my grandfather and when he got sick, and I just wrote in here about him being in the hospital and everything that was kind of going on with him, and I put a prayer in here. So this is what I was in last year around springtime. So the next question I didn't quite understand. It says Easter journal supplies or spring journal supplies. I figured that could just be like stickers for spring. I have a ton of these stickers here, as well as okay, so we have these stickers here for spring. Oh, I'm dropping things. We also have these one stickers in here if I can find them. Here we go. Found them. So, sorry, you guys are looking at these forever. So, these I have for spring. I also have these still. Let's see if I have anything else in here. I have some rainbows and stars for spring. That's pretty springy, I think. I just have like a little bag of awesome stuff in here. So I guess maybe like, oh yeah, these would be good for spring. These are really beautiful stickers. So good for spring. But yeah, so I'm guessing that's the take that she's taking on that. But those are my journal supplies for spring. Excuse me. The next question is, how long have you been writing for? So if you want to be technical, I have been keeping a journal since I was 11 years old. I started journaling during a part of my grief counseling after my mother passed away. I actually have that journal. If you guys ever want to hear some of my thoughts and things like that, I could do a series of reading some journal prompts from my very first journal. If you'd like, I will tell you that they are going to be triggering at some point because they are a grief journal kind of, so just a heads up. So technically, if you're technical, since I'm using that word, I've been journaling for about 15 years. I recently stopped writing Well, I shouldn't say recently, but I stopped writing when I was about 13 or 14 because I started not being allowed to have a journal because my dad felt like I was keeping things from him. So I wasn't allowed to keep a journal, which the story of my dad is actually on my Wattpad if you guys ever want to check it out. It gives you a little more insight of my situation with my dad back when I was younger. But then when I moved out from my dad's house and I moved in with my grandmother, I started writing again when I was about 17, and I've been writing ever since. So when I was 17, that would have been 2010, so I've been progressively writing since 2010 nonstop. So hopefully that helps. How many blank journals do you have? So 6 and 7 go together. 6 is how many blank journals do you have, and 7 is show your blank journals. So I currently have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 blank journals. So we're going to go through them pretty quick. I have this journal here with colored pages with this cute little lines with the dates and things at the top. I have this journal here, which is just a really thick paper. I love it. Got this from AC Moore. I have a black page journal, which is half lined and half blank page you use for gel pens. I have this composition notebook, which is super cute, which I may use just specifically for spring. I don't know. We'll see, which is another question. So I have this one. Then I have this composition notebook. It just says anything is possible. Next up, I have this journal here. This is actually like a puffy journal, kind of like my original journal. And again, it has this like where you can choose the date or the day of the week up here and your date. Then I have a couple spiral bounds. Let me actually move these out of the way here. I have a couple spiral bounds. I have this really beautiful owl notebook that I absolutely adore. I have not decided to write in it yet because I have a little bit of an issue with the spirals of this. I actually got this as a gift. The spirals are plastic, and I'm afraid that they're going to break. Next, I have this absolutely beautiful purple kind of vintage looking, like with these kind of things. Just basic notebook. This is what the inside cover looks like. Absolutely gorgeous. The paper kind of gets me a little bit because it looks like they're a little bit thicker lines and they're perforated, so I'm a little upset about that, but we may use this someday. Next up, I have this, again, really beautiful journal. It's a subject notebook. One subject, it is, let me see if it says what size. College ruled, yes, this is my favorite. This is just a basic, spiral notebook. Next up, I have a couple larger journals that I haven't really ever got into. I got this for my birthday a couple years back. I love the pages in this where you can choose the month and the day that you're writing. But it's rather large, and I don't usually use large notebooks. Next up is another large notebook. It's just this basic snakeskin journal. The pages are really thin, which I'm not too sure about because I like to use gel pens, and sometimes they'll bleed through the pages. So that's why I haven't used this yet. Next up, I have, which you guys saw in a previous video just a few weeks ago, I have this journal here. I've had literally forever from TJ Maxx. I'm just afraid to use the pages because it's just so beautiful. It may forever stay a blank journal. Next up, I have this journal here, which you guys saw in my blank journal video just a few weeks ago, with the different color pages on the edge. Next up, again, you guys saw this one already. This is my ColourPop twin wire bright colors journal, so it looks like that. Last but not least is my blank journal that I talked to you guys about in my, and when I say blank journal, I mean blank journal. Alright, so that is number 6 and 7. Number 8 is favorite completed journal. This is actually my favorite completed journal. This is the one that I have completely filled from brim to brim. I've never completely filled a journal in my life. I usually stop using it halfway through the year because I get tired of it, Sometimes I just stop feeling the journal and I need something different. There's many reasons why I stop using a journal. Sometimes the journal and I just don't connect, which makes it hard to want to write in it every day. Only you really true journalers will understand that. But yeah, so this is my favorite completed journal. The next one is, what is your favorite season? My favorite season is actually fall. I absolutely love fall. Fall is my favorite season due to the warm weather during the day and the cooler nights, as well as I believe fall is one of the greatest times to be inspired to write. I love the wind, like when you open the windows, because it's not warm enough to have an air conditioner, but it's not cold enough to use the furnace, so you kind of leave your windows open and the breeze blows through. It's just an amazing time to write, in my opinion. So fall would definitely be my favorite season. Number 10 is, will you use a different journal for your Easter/spring? I don't normally do that. I know some people do themed journals, but that's not something that I do, so I will not be using a different journal for spring. What do you like about journaling? So number 11 and number 12 are kind of the same question, but they're worded just a little bit differently. So number 11 is, what do you like about journaling? And number 12 is, why do you journal? So it's a little different and can have different answers. Number 11, what do you like about journaling? So I like the fact that I can take all of what's in here daily and just throw it on a piece of paper and have it forever. It's permanent. It just makes me feel better, and I like the fact that you can be creative with your pages, or you can be as bland as possible, and no one's going to judge you because it's your personal journal. Another thing I really like is the fact that you can express yourself by the type of journal you use, the type of pen you use, the type of writing you do. Just everything about it makes you feel creative. Number 12 is, why do you journal? I journal to cope with a lot of things in my life. I know that a lot of people do that. I don't usually write a daily entry. The only time that I turn to my journal now is to write when I'm having a bad day or something crazy happened in my life, and I want to remember it. I don't write daily. So the reason I journal is really just to cope with everyday life and to just have a place to divulge all my secrets and not feel like a burden on somebody. Number 13 is, how do you print your photos for your journals? Again, I use Timeshell, which again I'll link in the description if you guys want it. If you sign up, download the app, and use my code, you'll get your first month free. So pretty much what Timeshell is that you get 10 prints a month from your phone. All I do is just add which ones I want, and they mail them to me every single month. And it's super awesome because I print exactly what I need, and it's cheaper than going and paying to have them printed at Walmart. 14, talk about a journal you don't like to use. I actually no longer have this journal, but I had this journal that was really like short and fat. So it was like half of this journal, and it was super fat. I hated that journal so much because I just felt like with my handwriting, it was like 10 words. And the journal page was filled up. So I just felt like it was a nuisance to carry as well, because it would have been good for somebody that wanted to just jot down ideas, but to use it as an actual journal was really hard, because the pages were so short. I actually ended up getting rid of the journal. I ended up tearing the pages that I did write into it and give it to my cousin. So she used it. She loved it, because she was a little girl then, and she just wanted to journal for the first time. So, Number 15 is favorite journaling supply. My favorite journaling supply is hands down pens. Pens are my absolute favorite journal supply because you can use basic ballpoint pens. You could use gel pens. You could use fine-tipped pens. You could use just a regular, pen that you get from the library, this one's from the library. You could use felt tip pens, just anything. There's so many options of ways of pens to write with. I never write in pencil, and you people out there that write in pencil drive me crazy because I feel like the pages rub and then your writing's gone. But yeah, so pens is my definitely my favorite journaling supply. And number 16 is, what is your favorite holiday? My favorite holiday falls in my favorite season. My favorite holiday is Halloween. I just, again, love the fact that Halloween you can be whoever you want with absolutely zero judgment. At least now there's a little bit of judgment. But when I was a kid, you could dress up as whoever you wanted, and you get to be a different person for a day. And it's just an awesome holiday. I also love the background of the holiday, which is pagan related. If you guys would like to look into that, that's something that you might want to read into. And it's an awesome holiday. So, but yeah, so this was the spring journal tag for 2019. I hope you guys take a minute to do this. I would love to see your responses. So if you post a video, let me know in the comments below that you did, and I'll definitely check it out. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!